So these are some of the supplies we're going to be using for this next DIY. We're going to be needing some fabric, uh, a needle and thread, pair of scissors, a Sharpie marker, a ruler, some pillow insert or batting stuffing of some sort to fill your pumpkin. And we're going to be using just the bamboo wooden stem of this fish net that I had from the summertime. And then something to cut your bamboo wooden stick with. And that's it. That's what you're going to need as far as supplies are concerned. So as you can see here, I got my bamboo stick marked off. So if I go by the first nodule right here, which is the first indentation on the stick, I have enough for about 2 pumpkin stems right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the first cut here, and then I'm going to cut that same stick right in half, and I'll have 2 pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. So I tried to do the cutting on camera, but I really couldn't because where I have my camera set up is on top of the table and everything was just shaking all over the place. So I went ahead and did it off camera, and I only did the first cut as you see. Now I'm about to go ahead and do the second cut, but wow, can I tell you, this was not an easy task at all. I don't recommend this unless you have a table saw, because what I was using, yeah, was just not good at all. And so I might have to rethink this idea if I'm going to make more than 2 pumpkins. So just a heads up and a little disclaimer, this stuff is not easy to cut through. So next up, you're going to take your fabric, and what I have here are 2 sweatshirt sleeves that I cut off, just an old white sweatshirt, and I cut off the sleeves, and this is the legs to a pair of pants too that I cut off. So what we're going to be doing now is you're going to take your pant leg and turn it inside out. Okay, and so we're going to be using the jagged side because this has a finished side as you see here, and it has a so with the jagged side turned inside out, you're just gonna go and you're gonna start at one of the finished seamed ends, and you're just gonna take your needle and you're just gonna start going in and out. And you don't have to be a sewer for this. You just, as long as you know how to do a basic in and out stitch, that's all you're going to be doing. And each time that you pull through with the thread that you're pulling through, you're going to cinch it together, and you're going to continue going until you get all the way around the fabric, and it's going to, you know, cinch together like in a bucket shape, and that's what you want to form your pumpkin. So this is what it should look like, all sewed up and closed through. This is the inside, and now I'm going to turn it right side out, and this is the outside. So this is what you want so that, you know, your pumpkin could lay flat. And so now the next step to do is to start filling it up and stuffing our little sack to make our pumpkin. So I have this pillow insert from a travel size neck pillow, and so I'm thinking that if I cut it down the middle, I can probably get 2 pumpkins out of this insert. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to divide it in half, and I'm going to be using half of the pumpkin, half of the insert for each pumpkin. So I was thinking to take it out of the casing, but now I'm thinking I might want to use the casing as well. So I don't know. This is what it looks like with that casing all tucked down inside there. And so I'm just gathering it all together to kind of like shape it and form it in the pumpkin shape. And so this is kind of where we're going, and I think I'm satisfied with that. So now what we're going to do is the same thing that we did to close this on the bottom. We're going to do the same thing on the top, And we're gonna do the in and out stitch to close it. But before we close it completely, we're going to be adding that little bamboo stick to the center, and then we're gonna be closing it up as such. So we're gonna do that now. So as you see, I'm just gathering it around just like I did to stitch the bottom. I'm just sewing it around. And what I like about it is that, you know, it gives me ample opportunity and time as I'm sewing to decide if I want to go ahead and take it out of that little netting that it's in and just, you know, fluff it up a little bit more. But so far as I'm going around stitching, what I'm doing is I'm, you know, trying to shape it and form it into the pumpkin. And so here I am just, you know, stitching away, and every time I make about a good maybe I might go in and out maybe 4 or 5 times. I just take the needle and pull it through. And each time you pull it through, try to pull it taut but not too tight so that the string doesn't pop. And you're going to continue till you get to right about here, like maybe 2 inches before you close it completely, because remember, you're going to want to insert your little pumpkin stem, so you want to make sure that that's centered so that you know, it'll look even. So I'm just going to continue to keep sewing and going in and out until I get to the end, and then I'm ready to insert my pumpkin stem. So you're just going a couple and then you're pulling through. So, you know, you want to have your thread pretty long so that you have enough to go all the way around without running out. So now I'm at the end, and so I have my pumpkin stem in the center, and I'm pulling through till my string goes all the way to the end. And so I'm thinking maybe I want to poke a hole inside that netting so that I could shove it down some, because what we're going to be doing here is closing out this. So yeah, I think I'm gonna pierce a little hole right through this netting that I inserted inside with the batting, and so I'm just gonna cut through it so that I can stick the little pumpkin stem inside so it'll stand better. And so we're gonna just stick it in there like that and try to get it to stand straight. And so now we're going to try to close out the hole. So here it is all closed out, and I am so pleased with the outcome. I love the fact that I used the finished edge instead of the jagged edge for the top, and I put the jagged edge at the bottom because it was a nice neat close at the top. There's no frayed edges or anything like that. It's nice and neatly singed and gathered. It still needs to be, you know, shaped a little bit. I've been reshaping it as I go along, but I just love the way the little fishnet stem, the bamboo skewer stem, looks at the top. Even though it gave me such a hard time to cut, I'm overall pleased with the end result, and I'm so glad that I chose it. Such a cute little neat pumpkin, and it's gonna look so cute when I display it. I can't wait to display it with the rest of my decor. And so I just wanted to show you how simple and easy it was to make these little fabric pumpkins. So following in the same steps and procedures that we did with the other pumpkin, I'm just, as you see, I cut off the sleeve and I turned it inside out. And so now I'm just stitching the inside to close it up, and then I'm going to flip it right side out, and I'm going to stuff it as I did with the other one. So very easy, and it doesn't matter that we're using the same color thread that we used for the other one. It's not going to show, at least not that much anyway, and it doesn't really matter to me. And you can just use any old fabric that you have at hand, some old curtains, a dish towel, a pair of old sheets, whatever you have. I just happen to use these fabrics because they are going to match well with my decor. But really, you can use anything to do these fabric pumpkins, and they're just so easy. Okay, so I tied it off here, and this is how it looks on the inside. You want to close it off nice and flat so that when you turn it right side out, uh, the pumpkin will stand stable. You want to have like a flat bottom, so to speak. And so now basically it's just a matter of stuffing your pumpkin up with the filling. So this time around, I decided that I'm going to take the batting out of the casing, that little sleeve that it's in, and I'm gonna kind of break it up into pieces to fluff it up before putting it in to see if it makes any difference, using process of elimination. And so the first pumpkin was trial and error. I stuffed it with the batting and the casing, and so this is the second one, so I'm going to try a different measure and see if this one works out a little better for me. So I'm getting ready to close it in here so that I can add my little stem. I just wanted to show you that I did go ahead and cut off the top portion. I had left this little cuff sleeve part. I thought it would make it a little bit easier, but it was coming out more like a gourd than a pumpkin, if you will. And I will say that these little pumpkins do take a lot of, don't underestimate them, because I tried to keep mine as small as I could and not over exaggerate. And it did take quite a bit of that batting. So both of them did. So you're going to need quite a lot of batting, at least a pack, if you're going to be making more than two pumpkins. So now I'm just about ready to add my stem inside so that I can close it out like I did with the other one. But I just wanted to show you the difference, that I took out that the netting from this one and just stuffed it. It did make a little bit of a difference. I would say this one looks a little more round. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this out. So there you have it, you guys. My first ever homemade fabric pumpkins. They're handcrafted, and I just love the way the natural stem of the bamboo looks against the neutral fabrics. It just brings it out all that much more. And the fact that I created them, and it's something personal to me, and gonna go with my decor, and it's a one-of-a-kind creation by me, and so I love it, and I'm glad I was able to come on here and share it with you guys. I hope you love it too, and I hope I inspire you to create one as well. Bye now.